Alex Pereira, our UFC light heavyweight champion, is being exposed for sexual assault on a woman. I'm going to try to be as fair as possible in this whole case because this is a crazy accusation. It's come out in the last couple of days, but I have to apologize. I'm going to be doing a lot of reading because there's so much facts. Normally I just speak all of this off the dome, but today I had to actually take lots of notes because this is crazy. So now let's open this up with saying sexual assault is not a joke. It's not funny, it's a serious thing. But that being said, it's not something that women should weaponize to try to bring a man down falsely. This is not a weapon. This is not something to be used as a get back. This should be something that's used to bring criminals to justice. So a woman who is an internet model who was seen with Alex Pereira during the UFC fight week has dropped a video on TikTok claiming that Alex sexually assaulted her. We haven't heard of a lawsuit, just like 20 minutes worth of videos accusing Alex of this whole thing. No proof, nothing. But let's keep going. So at the time of actually editing this video, she actually put out some evidence that I'm going to be going over because I want to be as fair as possible and don't want to be putting out any misinformation. So basically right now, Alex Pereira is a superstar right now in the UFC, the biggest face the UFC has, arguably as big as Conor McGregor or almost getting there. And he's now been accused of a career-ending crime, but everything we're getting seems super fishy and the accuser's story kind of doesn't add up in some places. So I'm going to run through her claims and give you my opinions on each part of her story. And then at the end of this video, I'm going to give you my full-on opinions about this whole case as a whole. So she started off explaining that her friend was meeting up with Alex's translator, Mel. Alex's translator, Mel, asked her if she has a friend for Alex. Her friend sent this girl's Instagram and allegedly Alex replied with Shama. If I'm with my boy or whatever and he's like, oh, I'm gonna go meet this girl, but she said, do I have a friend for one of her girls? I know what I'm getting into. You're going to meet a girl to probably hang out, chill, be lovey-dovey or whatever. I'm probably going to have to do similar thing or just kind of keep the other person occupied. And it's not that we're going out for a date or going out to a cinema, we're going to a hotel. That's very, very different. And then this is where we see Alex being mentioned for the first time, where Melvin says, when I mentioned you to Alex while we were getting into the Lambo, why does he go, does she have a friend? And her friend responds with capital H-A-H-A, tell him I do. Now, as I've been saying, this is where it's like, if someone is asking, do you have a friend? When you're obviously going to be meeting up with this guy for things that aren't just also nice, you know that you're trying to bring your friend into a similar situation, yet her friend continues on. So you kind of know what you're going for, but again, I digress. They went to a gym for her friend to spar Alex, which she has videos of, but we do believe it did happen because we do have a picture of her and Alex that allegedly she's saying Alex asked for because she didn't know who he was and he wanted a picture with her.
Just to be clear also, that picture that I posted where everyone is saying that it looks like I'm a fan that asked him to take a picture with me, I did not ask for that picture. I asked for no pictures. I didn't know who this man was. He asked for pictures with me. I did not ask for those pictures.
So after her friend sparred Alex, they left the gym. Alex apparently checked her out and looked at her butt and was like, yeah, he approves of her butt because her butt is big or something, which she was disgusted by because she isn't cattle. And I get that. Look, it's a little bit odd to be with a woman, you're around a woman for the first time and then you're looking at her butt right in front of her, looking at her butt and you're not dating her, you guys are not friends or anything. That's very weird. That's total creep kind of behavior. So I get it. And if you recall, she did say when Alex met her, he looked at her butt and then she felt like cattle. Yet her friend is saying, I sent you my friend's Insta. Why are you sending your friend's Insta like they're a prize to be looked at? Like this is an auction or something. Hey, do you like her? Should I bring her? Go look at her Insta and look at if she's up to your standards or your taste. That again is very weird coming from her friend, especially when she herself is saying she doesn't like being used as cattle. And then he apparently tried to kiss her after looking at her butt and she pushed him away. She says she's going to be trying to get CCTV footage. This is what she's going to be saying for the whole video. She's going to be trying and doesn't have it yet. And she repeatedly throughout this whole video says she was super uncomfortable because she was not a UFC fan. She didn't know who Alex was. She only knew that her friend did kickboxing and wanted to come spar this guy. And then after the whole training session that we talked about earlier, we see her saying, thanks so much for inviting us. I enjoyed the training session with you guys, which means they didn't feel uncomfortable, because if they felt uncomfortable even at the training, her friend wouldn't be so, thank you so much for the training, I enjoyed it, smiley face with her tongue out. We see them having a conversation while Mel invites them to come and see them at the hotel if they're down, because it's going to be the UFC, it's going to be fun, but it's really hot. And then she asked, when are you guys going to your hotel? And Mel says, we're heading to a hotel now. Would you want to actually meet us there? And we're going to be leaving around 8:30ish because he wants to see one of the guys fight. And then she asks Mel, do y'all want to grab dinner? So this wasn't a thing where Alex and Mel sent an Uber to pick them up and tell them, hold them by gunpoint and bring them to a restaurant, which ended up being the hotel. Her friend asked, do you guys want to grab dinner? We can meet at your hotel. Telling me that her friend knew about all of this and just didn't tell her, because she said, I never knew we were going to the hotel. I thought we were going to a restaurant.
So they then invite us to dinner before the UFC fight. We were going to go out, according to them, but he sends us an address, and our Uber takes us to a very nice hotel where Alex is staying, and a bunch of, I guess, UFC...
No, your friend asked, can we meet at your hotel, therefore knowing that there was a chance that they might be at the hotel. And her friend also states that they're just Ubering around. And then now we see her send a screenshot of how expensive the Uber is to Mel. And Mel says, don't worry, I got you. So he didn't force her to come or force an Uber there with a gunman saying, get into the car, we're taking you to the hotel. She literally couldn't afford the Uber. So Mel said, I got you. I'll order you an Uber. Just try and get somewhere not where everyone is, so it's not crazy to try and find you. Telling us again, this might have been just a bop mission gone wrong. You wanted to go out to have some fun and you couldn't afford the lifestyle, but obviously because Alex can afford a lifestyle and is a big fighter who is rich, you decided to target him. So before they went to the UFC, they went out for dinner with Alex and Mel. But allegedly when the Uber came and picked them up, it took them to Alex's fighter hotel, which was kind of weird. Again, red flag. You thought you're going to a restaurant to go have dinner with these two guys and you end up going to a hotel. I am not going in. I'm calling my own Uber and going back home. Even as a grown-ass man, I am literally 6'1", I'm like 200 pounds, and I am very, very muscular and very athletic. I will still not go to a hotel with a random woman I just met for no reason. If I get dropped there and it's like, why am I in a hotel? We don't have a reservation, so why am I at a hotel? I'm not going in, but that's just me. When they arrived at the hotel, the translator took them inside and Alex was really angry, told him to leave, and he just looked angry and he was shouting at them, telling them, hey, just get these girls out of here. They then go to a hotel across the street where Alex gets them pizza and wine, even though one of the girls is 20. So in America, the legal drinking age is 21. So one of the girls is 20, the other was 21. So she was allowed to drink, but her friend wasn't allowed to drink. But yet they still proceeded to drink.
Mel asks us how old we are. I said, I'm 21. My friend says that she's 20 years old, not old enough to drink alcohol. So he talks to Alex, tells him how old we say we are, and then they buy us, I think, 2 glasses of wine. So, mind you, they're buying alcohol for a 20-year-old girl that is not old enough to drink alcohol, and this is on security footage.
Again, you know you shouldn't be drinking. You're at this hotel that you shouldn't be at because you thought you're going to a restaurant to eat. You just got shouted at to leave when you went to the guy that you went to see, yet you're drinking, which is going to, again, limit your cognitive ability. Then now the girl in question also says everything seemed to be like routine and how she herself is very bad with drink and she gets a kind of way when she drinks. If you get a kind of way when you drink, you shouldn't be drinking, especially when you don't feel certain or safe.
I'm starting to get tipsy and I feel sick because I don't do well when I drink.
In the house, for my baby dad.
And then she made a very, very egregious claim. She kept saying how Alex Pereira must do this all the time, and he does this all the time because it was so routine, everything seemed so set up, and it's crazy that you're coming out here with no information, with no proof to back up your claims, but you're telling us that this man does this all the time. Now, are there people who he's done this worse to, and now you're making people think that this might be an ongoing thing, and this might be like you're blowing it out of proportion if it's not true? Where's your proof of what happened to you? Where's your proof that he might be doing this to other women? Hopefully someone comes out and speaks up and says, hey, he's done this to me as well, but until then, this is just a empty blank shot. She then says Alex tried to ask her to go to the bathroom with him through his translator, and she said no. She said she doesn't want to be labeled as a just because of her line of work, which is crazy because when you look up her name, that's the first thing that comes up, and it's just crazy. She doesn't just sleep around. She wants people to work for it before they get it. She doesn't just give it up on the first meeting of someone, which I get. Okay, just because you do your work and you give it up for them on the first try doesn't mean you give it to a regular guy on the street who's trying to get with you on the first try. Yeah, I get it. We kind of what am I gonna say? Okay, but the thing she said that actually kind of annoyed me was she said she does what she has to do and she does her job to make ends meet. It's all she can do to make ends meet.
Think these things about me just because of the line of work that I do. I just do what I have to do to make ends meet. That has nothing to do with anything.
And I'm like, okay, look, buddy, I want to be a media cover page on YouTube. I also want to have a gaming channel on YouTube. I still wake up every morning and go to my 9 to 5. I'm a college dropout. I still go do courses to get myself some sort of certification and things and experience to get a job that literally make me ends meet until I get to where I want to go. That argument there, I never agree with it, and I'll never ever accept it as a form of doing what I do just to make ends meet. Stop it right there. There's other things to do. I don't care what you say. I've lived in 4 different countries and in each one I found myself a job. I'm 24. We're roughly the same age. There's a lot you can do out there. But again, from the jump, if you were told you are only being brought as a friend for someone else, it is a red flag. You need to leave, because all this tells me is your friend knew what you were getting into. She knew what she was getting into, and she brought you in as a sheep to the slaughter, and you just didn't know. And your friend kind of sold you to the situation. And now we have to talk about the fact that she came onto the internet to out the situation before getting the police involved. She said she doesn't know what she wants to get out of this. She doesn't know if there's gonna be a lawsuit or it's gonna get the police.
I'm gonna try my hardest to find the security footage. If it actually ends up like going to court or like something happens, I don't know what I was expecting. I just posted it because I just wanted to talk about it.
Go get the police. Go get the police, because this is a very huge situation. The law needs to be involved in this, and to find out if this is true, you can't come on the internet making all these videos before you get evidence, before you present the evidence to any police or any law enforcement. You go and get things rolling, get the ball rolling, and get things in order before you come and make a video, especially when you have no proof, because now you have people like me thinking this seems fishy. If you came and you showed me proof, now I have to believe you more than just being 50-50. I have to say, she's got proof. We need to wait for this guy to talk because I believe her. No proof, all these claims, crazy to me. She then goes on to say she went to the bathroom with her friend and they both tell each other that they're very uncomfortable and they shouldn't leave each other's side no matter what. They have to stick together. And instead of going to that toilet and saying, hey, we need to leave right now, they agreed to just stick together and stay there, even though they were in firsthand experiencing predatory behavior. If you're experiencing that, why did you not leave when you had the chance to? And I also noticed something. There was a lot of age throwing around. So she was throwing around the fact that her friend was 20 and she was 21. Again, you guys are not children. Yes, you are young adults in your 20s, early 20s, but you're not children. So saying that they knew older women wouldn't put up with this, you can't keep claiming the naive card or the young card. You guys knew what you were getting into, and from what she has said herself, this is not the first time she's been in situations like this. And again, guys, look, I am sorry, I hate to be vulgar, but if you're out here on the internet and you're telling me we weren't allowed to drink, we're too young, or we're so young, you're selling nude pictures of yourself, selling nude videos of yourself, doing some very adult things, I don't think you can keep claiming the I am a child card. That doesn't work anymore. You're of legal age, and you of all people know that, and that's why you chose the line of work you do. So are we really going to let you continue saying these things like you were a child and these guys were preying on young children? It wasn't that way. I thought being a predator is if you're like 21 and you're talking to a 17-year-old, or you're 21 talking to a 16-year-old. That is crazy. Like, I could never agree with any of that, but the fact that you are in your 20, like I'm 24, once you hit over that 20 line, life kicks in. Real life kicks in, and you need to be smart and you need to wake up. You're no longer a child, and there's some responsibilities that comes with that 20 and not 19. It is what it is. And so far, it's been roughly 8 minutes into one of her videos, and she hasn't once said, hey guys, I know this all sounds stupid. I'm a little bit stupid for doing it. I know, I get it. I made mistakes. I was being naive. I take accountability that I did put myself in some of the situation. I did have some chances to leave, but again, I was just going in with the moment. Everything was so heightened and everything seemed so fun, and I was just a little bit stupid. Not once did she say any of that. It's just blame with no proof. And instead of coming out and explaining that she has some accountability to do, she came out to say the UFC fans are as bad as Alex and we are also monsters, even though we're speaking from a place of we can't just jump onto your wagon and side with you if we haven't been given any proof. What's going on? Give us some sort of substantial proof. And that's where she's saying we're monsters because we don't just believe her just because she's a woman.
I just wanted to talk about my story. I was not expecting his fans to be as bad as he is, but I guess I should have known.
I understand that men are the driving force in these situations, but again, for me personally, innocent until proven guilty. So now, after all of this, after the whole hotel situation, the sparring situation, they went to the UFC fight night where they were again in public and away from Alex. Now they were in public away from Alex. She even flashed the whole audience at this fight night and decided to go back to Alex after the fight night. After the event, Alex's translator Mel sends an Uber to take the girls to the hotel so they could go out or go to clubs or a strip club. And they said, so we're just gonna go to the hotel again. Okay, the premise was you're going to a strip club. If you honestly believe that, I see why you would go back. So they arrived at Alex's hotel and Alex says, you know what guys, I don't actually want to go out. So Alex Pereira took off all his clothes and went to bed. Sitting in the bed, they're sitting in the room, she's sitting on the couch with Mel and her friend, and Alex keeps trying to tell her, hey, come into the bed, telling Mel, hey, tell her, come into the bed. He's naked, she says she's feeling uncomfortable, they're all in the room, okay, leave the room. But no, and after a while, she indeed went into the bed, and it wasn't a thing where she said he was being forceful, he was just asking her to come into the bed. There was no forcefulness behind it, he just asked her, and after a while, she either be a peer pressure and went into the bed with Alex.
I eventually get into bed with him because I was naive, I guess. I didn't think that anything was going to happen. My friend was there with me. I had told her not to leave me at any point. She had told me not to leave her with the assistant at any point. I thought that we were going to be fine. I thought I was going to be able to maybe try and get myself comfortable by getting into bed with him and cuddling with him if there was people in the room. I just have problems of my own. I have trauma. This is not the first time that this has happened to me.
And this is where we get it. This is where we get the first time where she says, I was naive. All it took for her to realize that this wasn't everything that she thought it was going to be was when she was in bed with Alex Pereira while he was naked. That's when she realized that, wait, I was just being naive. I shouldn't have gone into the bed in the first place. She then said she was nervous and uncomfortable and believed that getting into bed with a naked Alex would help her calm her nerves if they cuddled and stuff. So you thought getting into bed with Alex naked was going to help you calm your nerves.
I thought I was going to be able to maybe try and get myself comfortable by getting into bed with him and cuddling with him.
I'm not making it up. I'm literally showing you the footage of her saying this herself. I'm not making it up. And for me, it's like, I really don't want to make it a joke because this isn't a joke. If it's true, it's not a joke. This is not a joking matter. But where do we start calling out stupidity? Where do we start calling out things and saying, come on, you can't be that stupid? And then after a while, staying in bed, she said Alex kept touching her. She kept pulling his hand off. She said she was moving his hands to her waist, yet she was doing a motion of moving his hand to her chest. So it's like, which one was it? The waist or the chest? Were you gaslighting him to thinking he was doing something that was okay and you were just in a jokingly matter? Or were you kind of being like, hey, buddy, stop it? And if you were like, hey, buddy, stop it, if it was me, I would have got out of the bed.
He starts touching me down there repeatedly. I keep pushing him off. I keep pushing his hand off. I keep bringing his hand back up to like my waist so that we can just like cuddle.
And now after a while, she said they got tired and her friend decided to sleep in the same room as Mel and Alex on 2 queen-sized beds. She didn't say, oh, okay guys, we wanted to go to a different hotel room or we wanted them to send us back to where we came from because we were tired. No, they decided to sleep there with these 2 men that they just apparently met. She then makes it out to almost be like a hostage situation where her and her friends were sleeping at the edge of the bed, looking at each other in the dark, and
me and my friend are on the inside of the bed looking at each other under the blankets. I feel uncomfortable. I don't know what to do. I've pushed him off so many times at this point, and he's not taking the hint, and these men are clearly not caring about my comfortability.
You have the options to get the hell out of there. Get out of there. Before it got to this point, you should have been out of there. You shouldn't have said you wanted to sleep here. We're tired. Send us back to our hotel. I've gone to multiple parties. I've got to multiple hotels where I go back to where I come from. I don't stay there because I'm not 100% sure I'm safe there. And allegedly, after a while, Alex continued trying to touch her, and she kept moving his hands and just kind of like showing him with body language that she wasn't interested. And then Alex gets angry, stands up and starts screaming at Mel and her friend to leave the room, that he doesn't want to stay in the same room as them. And after making a pact with her friend to never leave each other's side, her friend leaves, and she didn't say anything where it was like Alex or Mel forced her to leave. She just accepted and left her friend in a room alone with Alex Pereira. Again, leading me to think that if this is true, her friend was actually trying to sell her to the situation for whatever she wanted to get out of it. And then she continues giving some more details, but keeps saying how she doesn't know how much she can say on TikTok because of the guidelines. Now, if you don't know how much you can say on TikTok because of the guidelines, why are you on TikTok? In my opinion, because things like this go viral on TikTok, and people generally don't come to see the other side of the story. They just take whatever side they see first and they run with it. So if they see your side first, your side goes viral, they're going to run with it. And even if this case is settled in the future, they're not going to come to find out if it was true or not. They just label Alex as a predator, and that's it for the rest of his career. Regardless of if this case is dropped, if this case is found to be false, it doesn't matter. And in my opinion, that's why this is on TikTok before it hit the police. Like, as a human, I think there's precautions you take so you don't repeat certain actions and you don't repeat certain situations. As I said, I've been in some places where things happen where I'm like, I shouldn't be here, and I've never been there again. I've never been around those people, never been in those situations. But from what she is saying, this is not the first time she's been in a situation like this. So she didn't learn from the first time or how many times this has happened to her in the past. That is just poor judgment. So if this is honestly true, this is poor judgment, and she needs to have, I don't know, some judgment training, because you can't keep putting yourself in this situation, because what's gonna happen is, who knows, there's human trafficking and there's death. So many things could go wrong. You can't keep putting yourself in these kind of situations. So now, after saying that, I'm gonna ask, do we all just believe women at all cost? Or do we call a spade and stand on business and say, hey, we want this to go to the police and we want a full investigation. We want all those CCTV records, everything to play out. And if this man is guilty, we want him in prison. Is that what we say? Or do we just say, he's guilty, put him in prison now, and she's correct, and we don't want to even hear his side yet? She then goes on to say that Alex took her clothes off, then put her on him, and then they were 69ing. And she had been here before, as I said, so she said she just went along with it. Which again, this is kind of a trauma response. I feel like she had all the reason and all the space and opportunities to leave. But now you are alone with him. It's just you and him. There's no friend. There is no one else who can help you now. Now you're kind of stuck. And if this isn't true, and this was just a thing that was actual consensual, I feel like she was okay with it until allegedly Alex started messing with her butt. I feel like this is where things went south for her, and she was like, I didn't agree to this. I agreed to everything else, but not this. So if the story is false and this was actually a consensual thing, I feel like that's when it kind of just went left. After she says all of this and gave us all this dark things that Alex was doing and all this plotting that apparently went on, she then says she tried to help him put his piece inside her. And because she couldn't do it, he did it for her.
Was to ask me to help him put it in. I tried to put it in, but I was nervous, so I couldn't. So he did it.
Why are you helping him? Like, I've never been in that situation, so I can't fully judge it, but it's like, there's so many things where it's like, how do you fight this case now? How do you fight this case in court if it's true? How do we go about this? Like, if you guys know, or you guys have a way that this could be fought after giving this statement to the internet before going to the police, because if you went to the police or you went to, let's say you had a lawyer, they would tell you to not say this outside of the courtroom because it could be interpreted in so many different ways. So the fact that she's coming out here without a lawyer saying all of this when she herself has a business, so she should have business lawyers who could even tell her already off the bat without knowing anything about criminal law, saying, don't say this on the internet, go to the police. So now she's helping him put him inside her. She can't do it, so he does it, and he puts it in the wrong hole. I think that whole part of this situation is where she had an experience that she did not want to, or she did not consent to. to. And I feel like that's where things get to the point where it's like, Alex, that's kind of weird. If she said she didn't want to, or if this wasn't something she signed up for or said she wanted to do, why are you forcing her to do it? Now, can we say that that was assault? If it's true, yes, 100% it's an assault. If someone says, hey, I don't want to go that far, and you proceed to go that far, it's an assault. But now, is it true? Where's the proof? And the fact that this is all happening where the only proof and the only person in the room is Alex. There's no kits that can be done. It's been too long. Did she do a kit? What's going on? The police don't even know about this. So how are they going to process this information? But yeah, in my opinion, the law has to come and intervene with this. Give us an answer. Do an actual full investigation, because while there's women out there who are always be going through this and trying to get their voices heard, going to the court, going to the police, and we don't take them as seriously as we should, because we're like, we can't just blindly believe everyone now because there's so many cases coming out with false accusations. But in my opinion, the UFC needs to move and start looking into this. Alex Pereira is their biggest draw. If he goes down wrongly, they lose millions. If he goes down being proven guilty, they also lose millions. So this situation is like no longer a joke. It was never a joke, but the fact that it came out on TikTok, people are going on the internet and kind of like clowning her, but it's not a joke. It's 100% serious. Like it's just serious. I hate the fact that these things always brew from the internet, because if it brewed from a police statement or a court order or something, we can't just say, oh, it's a joke, and we can't be on the internet clowning her, because we wouldn't even have all this information that we have, because the court would have sealed it and presented it in court. So the fact that she came out on the internet is actually also ruining her case. Like, we have videos shared with her in the same outfit as the night that this whole thing happened, where she's flashing the crowd because Sean O'Malley won. No one forced her. No one told her, hey, if Sean O'Malley wins, take out your boobs and flash the whole audience. But she did this. But again, she's an OnlyFans model. And before any of this thing happened, she was clearly looking for a moment, which is making it even more fishy. And a lot of cases, not just some, are true. And it's just heartbreaking, because if you're doing this for clout and you're trying to get some clicks off this or sell some nudes on your OnlyFans, this is crazy. This is ruining someone's reputation, ruining someone's life, and dropping the credibility of actual victims out there. If this is actually false, it's just disgusting, and something has to be done to stop this woman. She's messaging her friends saying, I feel like every morning I wake up and I feel shittier, and it's more clear to me that they just manipulated us. But at the end of the day, is there a level of manipulation? Yes, 100%, because again, if Alex and Mel were telling them, hey, we're going to date you and we're going to take you to the Dominican Republic and we're going to take you on holidays and we're going to make sure you're always taken care of, and then they just got what they wanted from the situation and ghosted them, there's a little bit of gaslighting and manipulation. But is it a thing where this is rape? No, I am starting to see that this might just be a case of regret, and regret is not rape. We need to make that clear, because at the end of the day, Alex Pereira could lose sponsors and contracts in the next couple of weeks as this keeps bubbling up. What are we going to see in the next couple of weeks? How far is this going to go before we actually get proof or answers? I don't know. But again, I came into this video trying my best not to bash her. I don't want to bash her because we don't know. Do I believe Alex did it? Hell no. Is it a possibility that he could have done it? Hell yes. I can't just judge someone's character from seeing them throw a few hands, knock a few people out, or say charma a few times. I can't. Do I think he's a good guy? I do, but could he have done this? Yes, I also do believe he could have. So I have to be honest with it and say I'm 50-50. I don't know. And you should also be the same. You can't be on here bashing her, and neither can you be on here bashing Alex. You have to say he's going to have to be innocent until proven guilty. Because in my opinion, this situation is not as black and white as she's trying to make it out to be. And we have to be very careful of that, because there is such a fine line between consent and no consent nowadays, in terms of you can start being intimate with someone and halfway down the line they say no, but things are already going on, and then now that's no consent. So yeah, the line is very, very thin, and make sure you're getting all the consent you need, because things like this happen and things like this do go to court, and you will lose, because if once a no was said, a no was said. Even though I said my piece and I try to be as honest and equal across the board, I know you guys are still gonna demonize me. That's okay. I don't care. I put my face in this video so you guys know that it's me saying these things. These are my opinions. And if you like my opinions, if you like these little bits of news I bring to you, let me know in the comments down below. Make sure to like, subscribe. And guys, let's have a conversation about it, because I don't know if we can just come out here and just say, Alex is a villain, or if we can come out here and say, she's completely lying. I do personally feel like she's lying. But again, I don't know. I do believe she's lying, but I don't know if she's lying. And if she isn't lying and this comes out to say Alex did do all these things, yeah, at the end of the day, look, I'm a Christian dude. I got sisters. I protect women. So like, at the end of the day, if this is true, Alex loses a fan in me. I can't support that. I can't support a man who's a predator to women. I can't support that. So if it's true, he loses a fan in me. And I think a lot of you guys should be the same. If these accusations come out to be true, Alex should probably lose a fan in you as well. But until then, I'm still going to support him. When we start getting proof and things start looking more clear to me, I can make my actual final decision on the whole matter. But yeah, I'll see you guys next time.